The Travel Foundation started working in Jamaica because tourism is one of the main engines of growth of the Jamaican economy. In the last few years, we've welcomed well over 2 million visitors per year to the destination. The Travel Foundation believes that in order to really unlock the positive benefits of tourism, there is still a need to increase the income and the local economic benefits of tourism. Before we started in Montego Bay, conducted extensive research in the destination. Our research was geared at looking at the perceptions and expectations of visitors from the destination. We also looked at the factors. We tried to understand the factors that prevented or inhibited or discouraged tourists from exploring and spending more outside of their hotel. The first project that the Travel Foundation worked on in Montego Bay was with the Rastafari Indigenous Village that showcases the lifestyle, or what we call the livity, the traditions and the practices of the Rastafari movement. The Travel Foundation worked with the Rastafari Indigenous community to enable them to be able to increase their income from tourism. So we worked with them to improve their infrastructure, provided capacity building, and also worked with them to meet the regulatory and standards requirements of the Jamaica Tourist Board so that they could get their license to operate as a tourism entity.
What Travel Foundation actually gave us was a kind of a boosting of our identity, in the sense that they were the ones who came and showed us that you do have a value, and a value that you could charge for in a particular way, you know. So that was very, very important in assisting us in how to create the language for interfacing with international tour companies. And it worked because we then signed a contract with the ground handlers for Chewy called Nexus. And in fact, today we had 6 guests from Nexus with us.
Rastafari Village is definitely a place to go if you want to see the true experience. The highlight probably was a drumming session. It's such a beautiful and spiritual experience. You can also explore and play instruments yourself, and it's something very special.
The Craft Intervention is a training program that we started in the Harbour Street Craft Market. We chose the Harbour Street Craft Market because that is the largest craft market in Montego Bay. This training program was geared at really addressing the issue of product quality, in addition to addressing the issue of hassle, because again, the craft market was seen as one of the hot spots for hassle, and that also is one of the reasons why patronage to the market had fallen.
The craft traders would have gained so much more self-respect and the realization that they're actually entrepreneurs. Of course, when the Travel Foundation came in and trained us to actually now impart the training to the craft traders, their eyes were opened up to the fact that this was a huge thing, and this is how they could develop on their businesses and on their skills as well.
Part of what we did with the craft traders was to train them on how to provide a warm welcome to visitors when they come into the craft market. That way they would have a great experience in the market and perhaps want to buy and also recommend the market to other people, their friends, their family. In order to address the issue of available information for visitors, the Travel Foundation has developed a Montego Bay Insider Guide, and we also collaborated with the Jamaica Tourist Board to develop a walking map of Montego Bay. Now, together these two resources provide information to tourists on what is available to see and do in Montego Bay. We have been distributing these resources through the information kiosks operated by the Jamaica Tourist Board, as well as TPDCO, the Tourism Product Development Company, in and around Montego Bay. In addition to that, for the future, we are going to be training frontline tourism staff and retail agents on this information so that they're able to provide to their customers information on what's available to see and do inside in Montego Bay outside of their hotel. The work the Travel Foundation has been doing in Montego Bay is really very important. We are aiming to work so that communities, the wider communities, can benefit from tourism. But the important part of it also is that the work is scalable. So whatever we do in Montego Bay, these are things that can be scaled to the other resort areas in the destination in Jamaica.